Hearts hadn't lost at Tannadice since May 1997 and were strengthened by the return of captain Stephen Presley, recovered from a hamstring problem. And it was the visitors who had the first chance to break the deadlock. Kevin McKenna, though, probably won't want to see this one again. Dundee United did have the upper hand in the first half hour, and Craig Easton forced a stunning save from Roddy McKenzie after 9 minutes. The keeper, who had to wait 10 years for a regular first-team start, proving he's now the best that Hearts have got. Paul Hegarty had said before the game that their final ball was their Achilles heel at the moment, although they certainly created enough chances. Charlie Miller making McKenna again work for his money. The opener came as a result of a controversial decision by referee Charlie Richmond. He judged that Jim Laughlin had fouled Andy Kirk here. Paul Hegarty not very happy at all. From the resultant free kick, Alan Maybury floated in the cross and Mark de Vries seemed to hang in the air to break the deadlock. The man from Suriname taking his season's tally into double figures in some style. De Vries was involved in goal number 2 5 minutes before the break, after some fine build-up from Hearts. Paul Gallagher this time committed to stopping the Jambo's top scorer, leaving Andy Kirk all alone to tap in his 7th goal of the season. Mark de Vries totally unselfish to pass to the Northern Ireland international. De Vries again was involved only a minute later, and if it hadn't been for Paul Gallagher, Stephen Boyack would have been celebrating Hearts number 3. With a lot of the possession and nothing to show for it, Dundee United kept pushing, and Charlie Miller was only the thickness of the upright away from taking something back into the dressing room. Seconds from the half-time whistle, Derek Lilly found himself unmarked in the box, but that man McKenzie was more alert than his defenders. 6 minutes after the interval, the game was effectively over, thanks to some delightful skill from Jean-Louis Valois. His 30-yard pass to Stephen Boyack was inch-perfect, scything through United's defences. Andy Kirk with the tap-in only slightly more difficult than his first. Kirk was desperate for his hat-trick and almost got it 8 minutes later, but it was Paul Gallagher's turn to pull off a heroic save. United were worth a goal and tried in vain. Even defenders got in the act. Kevin McGowan's volley looked like it was past the post, but it was McKenzie again who got his fingertips to it. As the second half progressed, the home side fell out of the game and Hearts were willing to try all sorts to add to their lead. Austin McCann doing everything right except hitting the target. Phil Stamp had replaced Neil McFarlane, and with less than 50 minutes left to go, he tried the most audacious effort. Paul Gallagher, on his 75th Premier League outing, did well with this dipping ball. Dundee United haven't won a game at Tannadice all season, and their recent run of 5 matches without a victory doesn't make good reading. And yesterday they were beaten by a team who were able to capitalise on their chances. Towards the end of the match, Stuart Duff's shot rebounded to a United player, but it was Hearts who ended up with scoring opportunity, although Valois' effort dribbled wide. Another unsatisfactory result for Paul Hegarty, but 3 valuable points for Craig Levein.
I thought in the first half it was very even and Dundee United had a couple of chances. In fact, Roddy McKenzie had a good game today. I think he had 3, if I remember, in total, 3 really good saves. So, you know, it wasn't all one-sided. I don't want people to think that. I thought that Roddy did well, and I thought you're right, as the game progressed. And possibly because Dundee United were looking to try and get back into the game and gaps appeared, then it enabled us to pass the ball a little bit better. But, you know, I'm thrilled for the players and also for the amount of supporters that came. I'm thrilled for them as well.
First half I thought we were excellent. Really what's killed us is the first goal.
And what about that first goal? Because a controversial free kick, first of all. How did you see it?
Well, it was right in front of me again. Jim Laughlin's won the ball cleanly. The referee saw it differently. And once the ball's played into the box for De Vries, he's won it header cleanly against Jim Hamilton into the opposite corner of Paul Gallagher. And we get punished severely for a situation that we had won the tackle fair and square.
Hearts in light blue, Dundee United in black. Commercial department's trying to sell strips for Christmas, I think. Very confusing, and in the end, United are in real difficulty now, Gordon, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, that was we consider home points as what you need at this stage of the season. But they are, I mean, fortunately for them, they're not being isolated at the bottom like that. So Motherwell are below them just now, but there's a real dogfight going on there. And you know, when you've got these home games, you need to try and pick up the points. But Hearts looked pretty convincing winners in the end, although it was a controversial goal. Controversial free kick, not a goal. The goal itself was fine, and it should still have been defended better, despite the fact that there might not have been a free kick. But certainly Jim Loughlin's tackle was fine. Yeah, well, I mean, we genuinely don't like to have a go at referees in this programme. They do have a difficult job, we all know that, but we reckon John Underhill maybe made a mistake in the Thistle Rangers game. I think Charlie Richmond certainly made one here, Jim, don't you think?
That was a mistake. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you know, players, you know, make mistakes, referees make mistakes, and you know, that was one. I mean, you can see Jim Loughlin, he's actually good defender. He's a yard off him, he anticipates where the ball's going to go, and maybe his momentum, maybe the referee thought that his momentum carried him through the player. I really don't know. But as Gordon says, you know, it's still a free kick way out in the touchline, and it's a great header. Take nothing away from De Vries. I mean, he is a big, powerful lad, and it's a great header. So I think Paul will be very aggrieved with the free kick, but at the same token, as you know, he'll be disappointed to lose that from that area. It's just a straightforward delivery into the box and a free header. Yeah,
Hearts are one of the 3 or 4 teams that are clearly in the battle for third place, Gordon, and they're a good side, obviously.
They are, and De Vries looks as if he's getting back to fitness again. He had that spell out injury. Even when he came back, he wasn't looking at his best, but once again, he and Andy Kirk looking a good partnership there. De Vries has got the strength, he's a big target man, and Andy Kirk feeds off that and can put the ball in the net. So we're both scoring. Craig Levein will be delighted with that. The main thing as well for Hearts is Stephen Presley back in.
Yes,
that makes a big difference. Missed him for a few games, and you know, they had a lot of young kids playing, and they've got good young players, but they really, if they're going to challenge for third spot, they want as many experienced players available as possible.
Yeah. What about this battle for third place? You obviously feel that you're not out of it yet. I think you're 8 points behind Hearts in third at the moment, Jim. There's very little in it really between.
No, I mean, I was actually out with Craig Levein not that long ago there, and Peter Houston, and we were chatting about that, and I think most people say there is a sort of like a general agreement amongst most of the managers that there's very fine line between us. As Gordon says, I think when you have your best players available, when De Vries is there and Kirk's there and Stephen Presley back in for Hearts, very important. You know, we don't have the squads that the Old Firm have, so if you lose 2 or 3 players, then that's when, you know, you can struggle a little bit. I think like Paul Hegg at this minute in time, you know, he's that bit of experience. Maybe he's got a lot of young boys, and he's like every other new manager needs a little bit of time. But from our point of view, we've got some, I think, a bit of quality. Technically a very good side, but we make elementary errors, and that's the difference between just getting that extra 3 or 4 points to take you up to that European spot.
Of Celtic, Dunfermline and Motherwell have that game in hand after the postponement yesterday. Hearts and Dunfermline on 33 points, then it's Hibs and Kilmarnock on 29, Dundee on 25. It's pretty tight, and down at the bottom, Motherwell a point behind Dundee United.